read out this bookmark at the end, and it's locked. I can find mine when I got home. I found it. 10 times we should have children in mind when it happens. So you have to stop there. I didn't know. So sad.
Set up Did he set up? Did he set it up? Where you set it up?
You set up, but did you get to charge it?
I had it charging the whole night.
I actually bought that like 10 years ago. My first laptop was charging.
Doesn't recognize phone. So that's Hashem. Shabbos Shira. What is this?
Another one's never like this. Never even so the sheet.
It's in the Rashi. You don't read it.
Do they feel like you're reading it before?
No. I got it.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Trying to put more of a shield.
You don't wear glasses for this one, so
Only for reading. I wear contacts or glasses.
Also, what's cool on DVD? Answer questions. I didn't think he was detected. He didn't seem to detect me.
How are you, Doc? See, how are you? It's open here. I don't want to infringe on that.
Oh, wow, it's nice to see
I'd
you.
love to see this.
You made it there, no?
Actually, no, so now sit over here.
I was not here.
And it's right now.
Did you come back here?
You would think that he didn't talk at all.
I appreciate it. Not as just me. Yeah.
Hi.
Now we're talking. Moshe. Jay, we got a lot of tissues going on. What's going on?
What are you kidding me? It's been nuts.
It's not going to be a dry eye in the house tonight?
You need a dirt in the tissue.
What's going on?
Not enough to go.
What do you know that I don't know?
Winter. It's always
I feel like you know something I don't know.
it's always a place. Right, also.
Doing my best.
Nope. What can you say?
That's what I said.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Wait a minute.
Okay, this is the final hafana for the conversation. Because Misham next week I'm not going to be here for the next few weeks. I'll be hopefully in Yerushalayim. So I didn't want to start a little bit and stop in the middle. But I saw this over Shabbos, and I thought that. I realized that there was Hashgacha Pratis to do this with you. It's a story. It's a story that also has, like all good stories from Tzaddikim, a very important limud, and I believe that it's a humbling and holy preparation for what we're going into and our Avaita here in Chabuz Yosef HaTzadik. Today is the yahrzeit of Reb Hish Rimenov Skusi Leinim. Pish Rimenov was one of the great mysteries of the Talmid Balsham. He was a Yosem from a very early age. He worked for a tailor. There's some stories from when he was a tailor, when he was apprenticed as a tailor, and he was a nister, very 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 big nister, and he ended up by Reb Mendel Rimenov, who saw in him that greatness that was hidden from everybody else, and he became a shamus. Reb Mendel Rimenov took him as a shamus, and when it came time for Reb Mendel Rimenov to leave this world, he asked that Reb Hish Rimenov would take over. This was a huge shock to the Chassidim. Reb Mendel Rimenov had a very chashuv the son also, but he wanted Reb Hish Rimenov to be the one who would succeed him, and he's called Reb Hish Mesharis. He was a Mesharis. He worked. He was the shamus for a mitzvah. In the beginning, he did not want to be rabbi. He used to go to the Rav Shitzer. The Rav Shitzer was nifter, and after that, the older Hasidim in Rimonov prevailed upon Rabbi Hirsch Rimonov to become rabbi. And then big tzaddik would go to him. He was from the biggest rabbis in Poland. It's just a tiny drop of the background, and the yard site is Lamed Cheshvan.
Rabbi sponsors.
Sorry?
Sponsors.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention that to thank the Rahmani family that are sponsoring the Chabura in honor of Zeich Nishmas, Rabbi's father, Avinoam Ben Chaim, this Nisham Shavin Aliyah. So, the story is a tiny little story. But then it has also a little commentary by one of the great mashpiyim of our generation, Rabbi Yitzchak Ginsburg, from Chabad, from Chabad. I'm sure many of you have read some of his svarim. He's got, I think it's, say by now, hundreds of svarim. And Hebrew Hashem is celebrating his 80th birthday, kind of coming up. And every week in the Torahs that he puts out, that they put out from him, there's also a story from one of the tzaddikim. So let's read the story. B'kayitz shel shnas tov reish nun ches. It's right the end of the 19th century. Shor HaTzadik HaKadosh Reb Chazkel Shragim Mishineve. B'noi shel Bala Divrei Chaim Itzanz. U'Talmidav HaMuvhakim Shel Rabbeinu. Reb Chazkel Shineve, the Divrei Chazkel, who was the son of the Divrei Chaim, and one of the big Talmidim of Reb Hirsch Rimonov, Bayeros HaNoifesh Kranitz. Many of the tzaddikim would go to that. There was a resort town in Poland, Kranitz, and Reb Chazkel Shineve was there in the summer. Chassidim Rabbim Nikbetzu Lishois Imo B'tzavta. Many Chassidim. Reb Chazkel Shineve was a very, very, very big tzaddik, a very famous rabbi, and they came from all over to be there together with him. Le'nasa oisam shum ulam mekomi l'spalo bayachtav, and there wasn't any shul there. There wasn't any place that was big enough to have everybody that was coming there. Hoil v'kach hukma sechacha rechabes yadayim b'sodeh hapatuach. So they made some sort of a big awning, like a tent, like a big awning, in order to accommodate everybody. This was out in the field, out someplace. V'nes v'sham kol ha'chasidim HaTzadik b'roisham lo seis rino u'tfilim. And all the Chassidim came to be together with the Rebbe. Be'echad ha'bekarim b'term ha'fi HaTzadik l'tfilah. So it was one day, one morning, before Reb Chazkel came to daven, Hivchin echad ha'chasidim, one of the Chassidim noticed ki b'shetach haschacha, that over there in the area of the awning, of the davening area, Psura Psoilus Rabba. There was a lot of garbage. It was dirty. It wasn't becoming to be a place to daven. There was schmutz all over the place. And without delaying, without waiting, he went and found a broom. He went and he cleaned up as kol hashetach saviv. He cleaned up the entire area. He swept up before the people came. Zman malach hashisimus malachtoi. A short time after he finished sweeping, Hayfiyah HaTzadik Reb Chazkel Shineve came. Kol his yatzvul tefillah, and everybody got ready to daven. La'achat time tefillah, after davening, Pana HaTzadik Mishineve El HaKohol, the Divrei Chazkel turned to the oilam. Ubikesh Hadas, and he wanted to know. He asked, "Miti Teres Haschacha, who was swept over here? Who cleaned up? Who was sweeping here?" Mishis Yatze b'Chosid Hamet HaTelephone. So that Chosid that had swept came to the Rebbe. And Yikora al Pnei HaTzadik Haftar Gedol. It was on the face of the Shinver. There was a surprise. He looked very surprised. Atam titatus amakum. Are you the one who swept over here? Yosef HaTzadik claim amen. He couldn't believe it, that you were the one that swept up this place. Hey, yes. Hey, Shiva Chassid. Kshu miskashel ohavin is ha'esek harav. Yosef HaTzadik mipulos apshut. And this Chassid doesn't know why he's maybe making a whole big deal of that he swept a little bit. Ha'im kivanta mashu b'shas hatitua. Did you have anything in mind when you were sweeping? Himshich HaTzadik lachka, the Rebbe asked. Okay, and the Chassid says yes. Hismika Chassid, he turned red. He was embarrassed, but he said, "B'shas ma'isa, when I was sweeping, nitznei b'moichi ra'ayom." All of a sudden, I had this idea. It came into my head. Upasachti v'amarti, and while I was sweeping, I opened my mouth and I said, "Hareini mitateya al das hakavanis hakadosh shekiven harebi Reb Hirsch Meriminov." I'm now mekavein al das hakavanis. He was a simple fellow; he doesn't know any of the kavanis. But I have in mind whatever the kavanis were. Now that when I'm sweeping this place, I'm having in mind whatever the kavanas were of Reb Hirsch Rimanover, who used to sweep the Beis HaMedrash of Reb Mendel Rimanover when he was shamas. Shekivin Reb Hirsch Rimanov b'shas tito is Beis HaMedrash of Rabbi HaKadosh HaRebbe Reb Mendel. That's what I said. I have the kavanas. Count my kavanas. Ki'ilu I have the kavanas of Reb Hirsch Rimanov who used to sweep the Beis HaMedrash of Reb Mendel Rimanov. Nu imkach, so Reb Chaskell Shinover says imkach hakol muvan b'nahir. Now I understand. Everything is clear. Hechus HaTzadik b'fanim psachach, because he was very happy. Tehisi v'lo hivanti. When I came into the place, the daven, I didn't understand. Mihu bal madrega hashemim. Who's a big bal madrega over here? Who's such a bal madrega? Who is on such a great level? Hashem Masugel Hayakayach Ko, who had such an ability to purify this entire area, to bring such a tahara to this place. Ad bilti hashir shum chitzayim uklipa b'chol hashetach. He didn't only clear out the the leftover kugel kishka, whatever was there. He cleared out all the klipas and all the tumah, whatever klipas and tumah of chutzlaritz of Poland was in that spot. This chassid swept away, and the Rebbe Chaskell says, "I didn't understand who's over here that could do such a thing." And tefillah koi zaka v'chaloka, such a davening, such a smooth and pure davening. Lo chavisi mizeh idan. I didn't have such a davening for a long time. What I was able to have from this place, I was able to daven in this place, such a davening. Ata hakol nahir umuchuva. Now everything now I understand. Kasher mitatim al das kavanoisav hakadosh shel haRebbe Reb Hirsch. That if a person sweeps a place, al das the kavanis, the holy kavanis of the Rebbe Reb Hirsch Rimanover, af kayam, even now, Yosef HaChamishim shana la'achris talkusav, even though it's more than 50 years since he died. V'gam ein yoidim ve'in mevinim mu'uma. And even if a person doesn't understand at all what his kavanas were. Nidchas achein kol hasitra achel lanuk v'detohim rab. One is able to push away with these kavanas al das, the Rebbe of Hirsch Rimanover is sweeping. One's able to push away all of the klippas and all the tumah down into that which is called tohim rab. I mean, nuk v'tohim rab means away, completely away. V'ha'avir nasa zach u'metzuchzach. And the air is able to become completely clean, completely pure. Mibli shum mesach chaytzais, without anything blocking the tefillas from going up. Mibli shum mesach chaytzais u'pargud, any blockage, mavdil b'fnei ha'tefillah, blocking the tefillas. V'oilo l'meisham ad kisei hakavod. And the tefillas are able to go and are able to ascend ad kisei hakavod. So that's the story that's found in one of the biographies of Reb Hirsch Rimanover. So now Rav Ginsburg talks about, and let's see how it's nageh to what our limud is, what we're learning. Mahu soid ha-mitateya sh'Rabbi Hirsch. Isha nani the secret of what Rabbi Hirsch his kavanas were when he swept, nobody can understand what those were. What was he thinking? But this story is telling us that we need to try to understand what is the avodah of sweeping al pi chasidus. Everything is an avodah. To know Hashem in every single thing that we do. So what is the avodah of tattoo of sweeping al pi chasidus? So Baal Shem Tov limed, so Baal Shem HaKadosh taught, ki kidei lahashpia, in order to be mashpia, in order for a tzaddik to be able to be mashpia on his followers and his talmidim, for a rebbe to be mashpia on his students, for a parent, a father, and a mother to be mashpia. It's not enough to give speeches, and it's not enough to have conversations and discussions to be mashpia. So gam atzadik hagod lo redis mi madregoso u'leschaber im ha'amcha. The Baal Shem HaKadosh taught that in order to be mashpia, there must be a relationship, like zoch and nekeva. That's what it means to hashpah. There has to be a connection, and in order to make that connection, the tzaddik, the rebbe, the parent, the friend, whatever it is, who wants to be mashpia, has to go down from his madrega, from her madrega, and enter into the life of the person who he's trying to help, who he's trying to be mashpia. In order to give, there has to be a connection. We've spoken about this many times over the years and learned this in many tailors. Well, Hashem HaKadosh said it on the Gemara. The Gemara tells us in a number of places that you can't be mighty somebody when it comes to a kiddush or a mitzvah. You can't be mighty. Elim kain what? You can't be mighty somebody unless you're chayiv in that. You can't be mighty somebody kiddush unless you're chayiv in kiddush. Because that's the din of Arvis, of Kol Yisrael HaRevim. So you can't be mighty somebody by kiddush if you're not chayiv yourself. So the Baal Shem HaKadosh said that the word chayiv doesn't only mean obligated. What else does it mean, the word chayiv? If a person's chayiv, it means he's what? Guilty. So the Baal Shem HaKadosh says that when it said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu about the Chet Ego, Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Leich reid ki shiches amcha. You're on top of the mountain, go down from the mountain, ki shiches amcha, because your people are messed up. They're messed up, they're chayiv, they're in big trouble. So Baal Shem HaKadosh said, this yisod. Why did Hashem say to Moshe, Leich reid ki shiches amcha? Hashem wasn't just telling him to walk down. Hashem was telling him, Leich reid, that if you really want to save Am Yisrael, Leich reid, you have to go, and the Gemara says, reid migdulascha. You have to go down from your Moshe Rabbeinu. From Moshe Rabbeinu, you have to go down. You have to enter into that place, go down into the dirt together with them. In order to pull them out, you have to get yourself a little bit dirty. You have to go down. Like the Meiser Rabbi Nachman, the turkey, the prince, right? You have to go down. L'schaber amcha. So Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Leich reid ki shiches amcha. Reid migdulascha. You can't remain Moshe Rabbeinu when they were on such a madrega that you were Moshe Rabbeinu and they were Am Yisrael and everything was connecting. But now that they messed up and they fell, your job is to bring them out. And therefore, in order for you to bring them out, Leich reid. You have to go down to them. Leich reid. You don't want to. That's not something you enjoy. It's not who you are, but that's what it means to be a rebbe. That's what it means to be a father, a mother, to be mashpia. Hayirida avuro hi hakrova. That yirida requires tremendous sacrifice. Lefamim mesirus nefesh mamash. Sometimes it requires mesirus nefesh, tremendous mesirus nefesh. Achi nidreshes al manas lehetiv im hamushpoim shelo. But in order for you to be mative, in order for you to help those who are mushpoim, those who are Hashem put into your life, that you're supposed to be mashpia, you're supposed to help them, you're supposed to teach them, you're supposed to lift them up. And who's more than our own children? It requires mesirus nefesh at all different levels. Could be that you have something very, very important to do this afternoon, something with work, or something. It could even be in ruchnius and learning, but you understand that your kid, whether the kid is 5 years old or 15 years old, or the kid is 20 years old, could be that kid could use something from you. And it might even be that you have this whole big avodah you wanted to do in your learning or your davening, and it would be nice to have a catch with your kid, to throw a ball around with your kid. So Hashem is saying to you, again, everything doesn't mean you're always supposed to be playing ball, but in the right way, the right time. Lech, reid, migduloscha. Get down from the mountain and go down and play. Even what's it for you, and what are you doing? This is narishkeit and so on. There's so many stories of tzaddikim. And not just tzaddikim, but regular good Jews. Mesirus hanefesh hazu murgeshes af Yosef. Shemavad hayiri da'atzma mislach lech HaTzadik v'nizak. Now, the mesirus nefesh that's required for this is even more when, as a result of going down, the tzaddik gets himself also a little bit elim ken chayiv b'yisadav. That is a dangerous concept, and therefore the tzaddikim spoke very, 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 very carefully about how this is done. And it doesn't mean Chalila going against Shulchan Aruch, how to do it and when, because this Indian of the tzaddik going down into the other side in order to pull people out has been used historically in very, very unholy ways. The whole takala that took place was Shabsai Tzvi Yamach Shemal. And what happened, and what he was doing was he was icing in this Indian of lifting up the sparks and lifting up those who are fallen, and it could be used in a very, very terrible way. But when it's done in the proper way, still, hamisavek imenuvel misnava. When you're wrestling, when you're handling with somebody who's dirty, you get dirty. On some level, you get dirty. So, man neisen has a koich lekach. From what gives a person the koich to do this? So, Chassidus, he loshen chesed. The whole union of Chassidus. The Baal Shem, the Talmidei Baal Shem didn't call themselves Chassidim. They were called by others Chassidim. But of course, Chassidim is a lashon of chesed, of loving kindness, and that's the yesod of Chassidus. Teva HaTov l'heitev, the biggest chassid is Hashem, because Teva HaTov is the nature of the one who is good, to do good and to be good to others. That's what gives a person the koach to be moiser nefesh, even when it comes to his own madregas, like Moshe Rabbeinu, to go down when a Jew needs help, to go down to be with that person. Hayirida lasik im anashim she'enim nesuna b'makom by nimtza tzaddik. This Yerida of the tzaddik, to go and to be busy with people who are not bechlal on his madrega, and to leave his madrega that he wants to be in that madrega of dvekus and so on, and to go out from that place and to go down to be with people who need him. Alula ligram liyitolei shmim koimai. There's a very strong likelihood that effort on the part of the tzaddik to go down and be with the people is going to cause him to become hitalish, detached, mimkoimai, from his place, and from his state of dvekus that he's in. And to go down, to be Isaac and to be involved in something which is very chitzoni, which is something very, very shallow and superficial, something silly. But in order to make that connection and to enter into the life of the one upon whom you're trying to be mashpia. But this is the teva hatov, the beautiful goodness of the pnimius, the inner essence of the heart of a Jew. shetzarach lesgaber gamal hamoichin. Now, normally, the avoid of a person is that the moich should be shalit al halev, correct? That one's mind, the whole Chabad Chasidus, which he is a Chabad Chassid, the whole Yesod of Tanya, the whole Yesod of Chabad, is that the moich should be shalit al halev, that the mind, Chachma, Bina, Das, has to be in control of the emotions. Chesed, V'Tfes, and so on. To be in control of one's emotions, to use the mind. In that respect, the mind is stronger and greater than the emotions. And the mind has to control the emotions. So what's he saying over here? That however, the Tanya explains in a number of places that that's only as far as the chitzonius halev is concerned. The place of taivas and all that is chitzonius halev. But there's a part of a Jew that's called pnimius halev, the inner essence of the heart. And the inner essence of the heart is higher than the moichin. It's higher than the mind and the intellect of a Jew. It's greater than the intellect of a person. And the pnimius halev has to be in control of the moichin. Otherwise, a person could remain chas v'sholem, a cold intellectual person. A cold intellectual person, which Chassidus fought, and to this day is fighting against that. Kriyus, that coldness. The pnimius halev, the inner essence of the heart. So even though here, like the Moich is telling you not to go and hang out with a kid and whatever it might be, and to be mashbi in some other way because you felt that you said enough when you said some Dvar Torah by the table yesterday, so you figured a kid is set for the whole week, although of course he's not. And you'd rather not step down from the mountain and go into that place with a kid. And the Moech says that you shouldn't. The mind, the intellect says that you shouldn't. You should stay on the mountain. And the Moech generally is supposed to be in control of the heart. When your emotions are pulling you to do something, the Moech is supposed to be in control of the heart. But the Pnimius Halev, Tzarech Lesgaber LaMoichin. Iker ha'aliyas v'amadregas ha'gevoris misrachashois b'moichin, ach b'nogei lahashpor l'hazulas yesh l'lechis em halev l'redis mihir. It's true that how you're going to be mashpia, what you should say to the kid, how you should talk to your students, what Torahs the Rebbe should say to the Chassidim, all of that's moichin. All of that's the intellect. But to love the person enough to go into his life and to leave your life, to go down into that life, that's Pnimius Halev. That's called Pnimius Halev. That's not Moichin. The Moichin don't get you to that place. The Moichin keep you on the mountain. Or they'll keep you making nice speeches, but they don't get you to that place. And the Mushba feels, the kid feels when you're in that place. The Chassid feels when the Rebbe is in that place. Yesh l'lachis ha'alev v'laredis man, to go down from the moichin. Alaf ha'klal yidu shel moich shal ha'alev kamadu b'pnimius ha'alev shalat al moich. That's a klal that Tanya says many places. Habal Shem Tov atzmai, and how many stories do you have from the Baal Shem himself? B'shvil ha'hetiv Yehudi, who was like the Baal Shem HaKadosh. He went draying around the whole rush over. He went draying around, speaking to simple people. To the simplest, and not just simple people, but Bali Averis, to the lowest people. The Baal Shem HaKadosh was doing this after he was Miskala, not in the earlier part of his life, but after he was Miskala. And we have stories to Baal Shem HaKadosh where he was besimcha, ready to give up his entire Olam Haba to help a Jew. There's no bigger descent from a mountain than giving up your Olam Haba. Zo chesed tahor. That's pure chesed. Sharak b'chasidus nitan limsa kedugmosa. Only in chasidus do you see such a thing. Even when the Rebbe is giving a shiur, sometimes you'll have a Rebbe that he's giving it. There are 25 kids in the class, and he's giving the shiur to two guys. Even I'm saying it could be a ninth grade. I'm not talking about Reb Chaim Brisker giving a shiur. a wonderful, nice 9th grade Rebbe, and he has this thing he prepared, a gewaldige thing that he prepared, and he wants to say over, and he's got 2 boys in the Shia that are getting this, and there could be another 25 that are completely lost. So it's a problem. It's a big problem. So what has happened over the last 50, 60 years, so then you have these people that decide, well, you know what, we're going to make 2 types of yeshivas. We'll have a yeshiva for what? Mitsuyanim, or people who are not Mitsuyan, but they're the children of wealthy people, right? For Mitsuyanim. And then we have Beinanim, Amcha, right? Mitsuyanim. And then they needed to have new yeshivas for Chalashim, Mamish. It kept on going, all different kinds of yeshivas, right? But for the Rebbe to step down from his place, I told you many times that we had. I remember that the impression this made on me was 6th grade, and Mamish, all of us, the kids in the class. It was the first time ever in my life that I had an American Rebbe, because the first sect they were all European. They're mostly Sheriff's Plate. It was very hard. And in 6th grade we had a Rebbe. His name was Rabbi Spiro, and we learned with him. We were learning with him Shnai Mochsim. And Rabbi Spiro, first of all, that he spoke regular English was amazing. It was just amazing. And then, in the middle of the Gemara Shia, he started talking about, he uses a marshal in the Gemara about how Joe DiMaggio would catch a fly ball. Now, I don't know if you remember Joe DiMaggio, but you read about Joe DiMaggio. I was at the end of his career, right? That's when we were kids. But nobody was able to play the outfield like Joe DiMaggio. And then after the Shia, it was a recess or lunch or something. I don't remember, but after he gave the Shia, and he took us out to play stickball with us in the park. And he took off his jacket, and he played stickball with us. And not only he played stickball with us, this was in Jamaica, Queens, not the island, Jamaica, Queens, and there was some rough cover over there, and there was one of the locals went over to a boy and knocked his yarmulke off the head. That was a favorite pastime. He knocked the yarmulke off his head, and our Rabbi Spir went over to this guy. It wasn't a little kid. It was a big guy. And I remember there was a handball court where we played stickball, against the wall. Rabbi Spir took this guy, this thug, and he slammed him against the wall. And he said, "If you don't pick up his yarmulke, I'm going to kill you." He was holding him against the wall. It's like it was the whole year, the way that we learned. I can still remember the learning of Rabbi Spir. And he was a very, very frum Talmud Chacham. But he came down to us. It was the first time that I had such a thing, that a Rebbe actually went down with us to such a place. By the stickball court and with the shkotzim and with the whole thing that took place over there. He won us completely over. But it wasn't just that he would play ball with us. That's how he was when he gave the shia too. He would try to make sure that every one of the boys was there. That every one of the boys was there. And you remember that your whole life. Such a thing. B'dor Shalom, the last paragraph on the right side. B'dor Shalom shabayin nitzvechas b'yosef avodas akir b'tshuva. In our generation, where so many chevra are not keeping mitzvahs, we have to work so hard to bring people back to kiruv and shuva and so on. Zeh klal choshev ma'od. This is a very, very, very important klal. Klal choshev ma'od. Efshar hayalachshav ki b'dereno ein klal bali madregas. So you might say that in our generation we don't have people like Reb Hirsch Rimanover, we don't have people like Reb Chazkel Shinover, we don't have such great people. The Mela ain't tam lasa b'kach. So we don't have to be Isaac in this. Ach yachasid, but Rav Ginsburg says no, because relative to every generation, gam b'derenu yeshlam bali madrega. As I said, even a parent is a bali madrega compared to a kid. It's not just Reb Chazkel Shinover or Reb Hirsch Rimanover. A parent is a bali madrega. The kid's a little kid. The Rebbe is a Bal Madrega, and the student is there's always The need to go to the people to be mashpia. And that's what Ginsburg explains. In a certain way, every one of us. Every person, compared to another person, is in a place of godless, moichin the godless, is on a higher madrega in his moichin than the other person, whether it's your kid, or whether it's your student, or whether it's a Jew that you met, or partners in Torah, whatever it is. Or some of you want to be mechazik, could be mekar. Even though the person that has moichin the godless, he's inclined to just stay by himself and stay to himself and go to higher madregas, to go higher on the mountain. Davka oz yesh loredesh lashpia toiv. Davka, at that moment, to go down and lashpia toiv. Ve'ech kol zeh koshlet tetu. So what does this have to do with sweeping? That's the story. That sweet, simple chassid had in mind when he was sweeping up the davening area. He had in mind that it should be with the kavanis of Hish Rimanover when he would sweep the Besamedrish of Mendel Rimanover. When Hish Rimanover was a hidden tzaddik and he was just going like a shamus. We have that the Baal Shem used such a marshal of a broom. The whole purpose of a broom is to clean the house. But while you're cleaning, there's this kli, this thing, the broom is for cleaning. But by using this broom, the broom itself gets dirty. The Baal Shem said that. And it gets dirty. The broom itself gets dirty. The Baal Shem HaKadosh demanded from each and every Jew, especially from the tzaddikim, to agree to become a broom, to be a broom, to clean others, but in the course, by way of cleaning others, you understand that some of it becomes attached to you. And then you have to work on it, you have to deal with it, you have to do whatever it is. Again, this has to be in the right way. Now here's where we get to Chabuz Yosef HaTzadik, even though this all is about that, but listen to what he says now. There's a certain kind of dirt that the tzaddikim were most concerned with, because the Shulchan Aruch and the Zohar Kodesh are most concerned with, and it's the dirt of the wife of Potiphar. It's that dirt of what? Of Pagam Habris, that Tumah. We see in Shulchan Aruch, and especially the Zohar Kodesh has such strong lashonos to make sure to clean up the crumbs after you eat, to sweep under the table when there are crumbs under the table. In the Zohar Kodesh, it's a big inyan not to leave crumbs under the table, to sweep the floor. So what is it? Okay, what's the big inyan? You want to have a nice clean place, but what's the big inyan? There's the Kabbalah Mavur Ki Pas. In Kabbalah we're taught that pas, bread, the crumbs of bread, is begematria lilis. Lilis is a tumah, without going into, it's a tumah that's especially connected to this pagam of pagam habris. It's called lilis, a certain koach of tumah. So pas is the gematria, equals the gematria lilis. It's a lashon of Laila, a lashon of Yalala, of the night, of crying. It's the Mikra Laila, it has to do with this pagam. Uperui hapas hem semel l'tipos sheyotzu levatol. Breadcrumbs are a simon, or it's not a simon, a symbol, not a symbol of the drops of zera that are wasted. Tipos sheyotzu levatol. Kedei leroimim esachaitim. Therefore, in order to lift up those who have sinned in this inyan, whether intentionally, chalila, or unintentionally, that there's zera levatala, crumbs, HaTzadik yored lehezdahois and pagam habrish shalahem. That Tzadik goes down to try to understand what they're going through, to try to understand what our generation is contending with, to try to feel the pain and the embarrassment and the challenges of what the chevra are dealing with in our generation. The crumbs on the floor, and to get down to help to sweep. The only way you can lift a person up is by connecting to that person and identifying with him and feeling his pain. It doesn't mean doing the same aveir, but it means to understand where he's coming from, to understand what is it that he's challenged by, to feel that pain. And as the tzaddikim taught, to look for that begam inside of yourself. Going back to what the Baal Shem Tov taught, it doesn't mean that the tzaddik is over on begam habris chas v'shalom, but it means he looks inside of himself. When was the last time that he had a machshava, that even that person had some machshava that wasn't entirely 100% pure? In other words, and you're madrega to go to that place. Doesn't mean to go and do this, to go into that world of that person who you're trying to help, and to see that you yourself have had this problem. Maybe not in such a unrefined way, in such a trust way, but you yourself have had this problem, and you yourself have to work on this. So and understand that this person's working on the same thing, so it's not as refined as you are, but it's still the same sugya. And to go into that person's life. To talk to the children or the grandchildren about this Inyan, the children, it's really the father and the son, to talk to the children about this Inyan without you yourself first davening and being humble enough to remember how you struggle with it. And to enter into the life of the child, it doesn't work. And again, intellectually, you could be the smartest person. And it could be that you have all these great speeches prepared and all kinds of drushes and you have Mar Makaimis and everything like that. But if you don't humble yourself and go down and remember that you're also in that place with the kid. And you also were once a kid. And to go into that place. And to find those crumbs under your own table. Yeah. And then you in a certain way, when you're going there with the ones who you're trying to help you mashpia, you become a little bit back connected to that Indian. It gets a little bit, sticks to you a little bit. Nevertheless, the tzaddik has to be prepared to make such a sacrifice, to sweep, to pick up the broom and to go, and to get down and to go into the life of that chassid, of that talmud, of that kid, of your child. Makes a remez by the film. It says tat pas, right? Rashi brings down in the language of that. Tat pas. So he makes a plain. The word toitofos is the word latate, which means to sweep, and pas means bread, which is the same way that the film are always upon the immediate film. The toitofos ben necha. So you should always remember that there are Jews who Hashem is sent into your life, for whom you have to go down and to sweep and to help them with the crumbs. So let's go back to our story. What does it mean to sweep? It means to take this thing and to go down and to go into the dirt and to start cleaning the world, to clean the world. The first thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu was what? Lech lecha. You see the word lech lecha is the word lechluch. And filth. And Avraham Avinu lived in a filthy world. He was raised in a filthy home. And Hashem told him lech lecha, that if you want to be a tzaddik, you want to fix the world, you have to lech lecha means you have to go into lechluch. The Yosef HaTzadik lehe'osas lemetateya means the readiness of the tzaddik to become himself a broom. It depends on the humility of the tzaddik. You remember I told you last year that there was it's a whole story, but there was a chassid that it was ready. The Lubavitcher wasn't seeing people already. It was late. It was already like 3 a.m, and he already had seen the last person of Yechidus. And this shliach was there. Came with somebody called an emergency, and he wrote the kvittel and he wanted to give to the Rebbe, but the door was already locked. So he figured that. So that this shliach took the kvittel and he put it under the Rebbe's door, so that when Rabbi Chadikov, when the Rebbe's shamus, was going to open the door, so he would see this note and maybe he would give it to the Rebbe. So and he stayed outside the door, and then he was unbelievably shocked and terrified when he saw that the Rebbe himself opened the door. And the Lubavitcher bent down and picked up this kvittel, to read the kvittel, and he ran away. This chassid ran away, and he wrote a letter to the Rebbe to apologize. I never thought the Rebbe was going to come to the door. I thought the Rebbe HaTzadik was. I never meant such a thing that the Rebbe should bend down to me. And the Bible wrote back to him. He says, "My entire existence and my whole reason for being in this world is to bend down and pick up those who have fallen." Hear this? My whole mitzvah in the world is to bend down and pick up those who have fallen. That's what it means for to become a broom. And there's a person who could have stayed, even with being so busy sweeping the whole world. He was he wrote hundreds of svarim we have from him, with all of that. But every single Jew in the world, wherever the Jew was, he was worried. To sweep, to help. So he says, "B'miyuchad, This was the Indian of Rabbi Hirsch, remember, sweeping the Beis Medrash. Where many people thought, they didn't know who he was. They thought he was a simple cleaning man. He was cleaning. That's how they looked at him. They didn't know that the Rebbe was preparing him to be the Tzaddik Hador, was preparing him to lift up the whole world. So with this guy, the chassid in the story, so this chassid became a broom. And that's why Cheskel Shinover felt, wow, who was over here? He felt that the place was completely cleaned from all the klippas and all the tumah. A chassid ras halichlach. It was a simple chassid. He saw the place was dirty, but he took the broom, which is something that could be that our kids in the 5 towns, they don't even know what a broom is. They don't even know what it is. Or it's something that somebody else does, either mommy or somebody that mommy brought into the house, but to pick up something, to clean something, to clean after yourself. This chassid, he saw that it was dirty. He didn't call in the guy, that's the cleaning guy. The chassid took the broom to get the place ready for davening. Not only did he sweep the place, but he swept it al das Reb Hirsch Rimenever. That was the kavanah. We could have that for the rest of our lives. We could think that. Al das Reb Hirsch Rimenever. He became himself now like a broom in the hands of Reb Hirsch Rimenever. He made himself into Reb Hirsch Rimenever's broom. Because of his humility. He was humble, this chassid. And he was miskashet to the tzaddik. He was able to push away all of the tumah of Poland, of chutzlaretz. From that place, he was able to push it away. That the Divrei Cheskel felt that this place was like the biggest tzaddik was here. Tailor of Hishrim of himself came to this place and cleaned it up for us. This is our hachana. This is the way to prepare for a conversation. This is the Hashem Yisbarach put us here into the world to be brooms, to sweep the world clean. But in order to do that, you have to be humble enough, and you have to understand that in doing so, sometimes you get also a little bit, and we have to work on ourselves. And by working on ourselves, we'll be able to be stronger to help others. It will be a zech for the time because Baruch will sweep the world from all the tumah. There's so much darkness, there's so much tumah in the world. We should be zech for the day of Ka'oshan Tichla, that it should be swept away like the smoke is blown away by the wind with the Glash Ma'amitas. Amen.